What's going on, guys? Going to do a video today showing you some of the happy customers that have bought into Theta Traders. In particular, the Theta Traders covered Strangles that Lance and I did a webinar on just the other night. Hopefully you saw that. If not, go to the live tab on my channel and you should be able to find that webinar. Somebody described it as the best webinar they've ever been to. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it was fun, and Lance did a really good job explaining what he does with the covered strangles. So the strategies there's so many different strategies here. This is datatraders.com. I'll leave a link in the description for you to go and check it out. Lance does so many different strategies, but one of them is called consistent passive profits, and this is what we're kind of talking about today. So in consistent passive profits, covered strangles were the one that we were focusing on in the webinar in detail. And the reason for that is it's had such a huge success rate. It's never had a losing trade over the last 3 years. And it grew Lance's account by 84% last year alone in 2024. So it's pretty cool. It's probably I'd say it's one of the most passive, like profitable systems you could ever buy. So to me, like it's a no-brainer to get this system, especially since we're running a 50% off sale at the moment, which is just an absolute bargain. In addition to the covered strangles, you get weekly futures puts as well. These are selling naked puts, and these have never had a losing trade either. And we're talking about 10% a month total between these two parts of consistent passive profits. And so we are running a 50% sale. Normally it's $11.97, which is a very fair price for this. But now we've dropped it down to $5.97. So I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go buy this. I highly recommend you do. If I was to pick one service for just making consistent passive profits, where it's like very passive, very chilled out, it's not crackhead day trading, this would be it. This would be the number one strategy. And in fact, I put that in my top 10 stock alert services for 2025. There's a bit of a learning curve if you've never done covered strangles. It's very easy though. It's easier than it sounds, so don't be put off by that. And the future puts, you do need to have a futures trading account, but it's very easy, and Lance walks you through this step by step when needed. He also does Zoom calls with people if they're struggling or just want to learn more about how these trades work. So definitely check this out. So you can go to the Theta Traders page, or you can go to the landing page, which I've put together. I'll show you that in a few minutes. First though, I wanted to show you some of the testimonials that we've had recently for this particular service. So there's lots. You can see on the left here, we had a bad month, or there was a bad month in the market here. And this guy, or girl, Kim, says, of course, Theta always works. CPP, that's consistent passive profits, that includes the covered strangles, is smooth sailing even though the market dropped hard. That's always good because this strategy is battle tested. It works in up markets, down markets, sideways markets. It just works, which is really good. You can see that's reflected with 10 Saru. Here he said October was a rough month by most measures, still came through with 3% overall profit with the CPP trades. It's probably just the naked puts because the covered strangles tend to make a bit more than that. In January, Lance did 10% on these particular trades, so you can definitely make more than 3%. They're very conservative trades still. Like I said, they haven't had a losing trade in 3 years since we've been running this service, and that says a lot about how consistent and profitable these trades actually are. So kind of scrolling down here, Tensuru also said here, and this is important, I think it's important to join a group that is really helpful, not just to give you alerts, but to help you learn strategy, especially if you're new, right? So he said, I had almost no knowledge of options trading when I first joined this group. I was able to learn quickly thanks to Theta Traders. That's Lance that runs the service. Well-documented list of resources. Most importantly though, Lance is always willing to help and always replies to any questions I have in a timely manner, which has been instrumental in my success so far. So if you're looking for a service where you get like a lot of help, this is definitely one. It's probably the best I've ever seen. In fact, it is the best I've ever seen in terms of hands-on help. So let's look at some of the other stuff here to try and zoom out again. Zoom out so we can actually see stuff here. These are some example trades. So he says, Billo says, I read through all the strategy guides. Nice job. So you get all these strategy guides included in this service as well. And you can ask Lance questions about them as well. And a lot of people do. He says the covered strangles are the best so far. I prefer high probability, low maintenance trades, which the above would be for the most part. That's why I love it. That's why Lance loves it. That's why a lot of people really enjoy this and have made lots of money so far. And I'll show you one guy who made a ton of money doing this. A lot of people think you can't make a lot of money doing these very conservative strategies, but you actually can, the way that Lance structures these. So, risk it for a brisket. I'm not sure why either. So far, this made me more cash flow than buying a rental house, and I'm only using $10,000 so far. My rental properties back in the day average cash flow $250, and if they were really good, about $300. But it would taken me at least $20 to $30K to get into the rental property back then. Definitely much better than rental property, and cash flowing right away with without the high closing costs and fear of repairs of a rental business. So that's pretty good. It keeps doing that. Zooming in, zoom out a bit. So you can see people love theta traders. Some of these are not relevant to the covered strangle stuff, so I'm just kind of finding the ones that are. I think we've covered some of these. So people praising Lance to be a good teacher, and as he should be. He's a teacher by profession, so he's used to teaching. Sure, it's science instead of trading, but he also translates that skill into being able to teach trading as well. So Rick has a nice testimonial here. He says, Lance, in my opinion, you're the best, and I'm looking forward so much to your new strategy. So we introduce new strategies periodically into theta traders. So yeah, lots of different success stories here. You can see most people are very happy with theta traders. I think it's very well priced, especially when things are on sale like they are right now. Just kind of see. Jamie Dolan says, somebody can help you on Zoom call, or you can talk to Lance. I think you can some Zoom sessions. So far, you're having a great week. You're an amazing person and trader. So these are all good. One of the best ones, though, was recently by whoever A.L.I is. You can never tell if these are females or males. Usually they're males, but you see this person. So let's look at this one. This one is quite long, but I think it really gives you a good idea of what sort of is possible with the covered strangle strategy. So A.L. said, just want to take a moment to express my gratitude to Lance and the group. I've mostly been a silent member since 2023, but I've gained so much from being here. Lance, your trade signals and insights have been incredibly valuable, giving me the confidence and assurance to take actionable positions. When I first joined, I was overwhelmed by the sheer number of strategies. That's true, there is a lot of strategies. But we're talking mainly about the covered strangles sale that's going on, so you would just be focusing on one or two strategies. That's the covered strangles and the naked puts. So anyway, I decided to simplify things and focus mainly on weekly naked puts on MES. So they're included in the covered strangle strategy. During the challenging spike in VIX on August 5th, a lot of people got hurt on August 5th, but people in theta traders, a lot of them just were able to weather out because a lot of the positions, like the covered strangles, weren't challenged at all. So even when the worst happens, you can actually get through it. So it's really amazing. Anyway, I held on to all my active losing positions without closing out. Instead, up and down funds increased my portfolio from initial 25 to 45. This gave me the buying power to capitalize on selling puts with strong premiums at relatively safe levels. So this guy actually used what was one of the most devastating events for option sellers last year to actually make more money using the cash secured put strategy, which is part of the covered strangle program that I'm about to show you, that you can get for an absolute discount at the moment. Anyway, it says, fast forward today, my account has grown to just over 60,000 with a year-to-date return of approximately 30%. This would not have been possible without the guidance, transparency, and knowledge you shared, Lance. The fact that you managed to do all this while being a full-time teacher, which I know must be extremely demanding, makes it all the more impressive. It really is. Lance does a fantastic job. And he's right, the group is truly awesome, and I want to thank you for all the amazing work you do. To close, I'll borrow a quote from Bruce Lee. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Your consistency and dedication inspire us all. Keep up the fantastic work, Lance. So a really good testimonial, and that's how a lot of people in theta traders feel. This one here is Lance's own brokerage account. He took a snapshot just to show. This is the account he used for covered strangles, and you can see he made last year $2,400 on just a $29,000 account. That was last month, not last year. This was in January. So he made about 10% last month just doing these covered strangle strategy. The covered strangle strategy, like I said, it's on deep discount at the moment. In fact, it's selling for half of what it normally would. So this is the landing page. You can find this in the link below. We did this for a New Year's sale, But we figured we'd just extend it and let people in because it's such a great strategy. People are really missing out if they don't join this. It's lifetime, so you only pay this $5.97 once, which is just a bargain. These strategies, like, it's easily, I mean, people are paying $11.97 for this. I've seen other services go for way more than this, or nothing like as good as this. This is the real deal. So this is lifetime covered strangle alerts, which I showed you on Theta Traders right here. So you get the covered strangles, the future strangles, the one-on-one coaching, the weekly future puts, the strategy guides, and the Zoom calls if you need them. So you get all of that for, let's find the page here, for that $5.97. You can see on the right here. It's lifetime. You just pay $5.97 this one time. And basically the strategy is it's just phenomenal. It's been so successful through all those negative market conditions. It has a 100% win rate in 2024. In fact, it's not lost in 3 years. The account growth for Lance in 2024 was plus 84%. That's phenomenal, especially for a very conservative strategy that barely ever loses. Can't say it'll never lose, obviously it will, but you can actually make more money if there is a losing trade sometimes with this strategy, which we haven't had the opportunity to do yet because it's never lost, which nobody really believes because a lot of people are used to buying options and they don't realize that the math really works out better if you're doing these covered strangle trades. So a lot of people might be put off and think there's no way this never loses. It will lose eventually, it just hasn't for 3 years. So it's all done in Discord, and Lance is in there with hundreds of other traders that are doing these strategies. And so you have a community as well where you can talk about this. And so yeah, so here's some of the bonuses we're including. Even at this $5.97, you're getting a ton of bonuses. One-on-one Zoom call with Lance is probably one of the most valuable because he really talks you through about how this actually works, in detail. So you really have connection with the main guy doing this, which is unusual in this business. I think one of the few services that actually allows this. And I don't know how Lance does it. He's so busy, but he finds time for people, which is fantastic. So the strategy is not complicated, but if you're brand new to it, you'll get complete strategy courses and that one-on-one call with Lance to make sure you understand what you're doing. He's always available via DM as well. So it's a really learning experience as well as just following alerts. You get the weekly naked put alerts along with the covered strangles, and those have been fantastic. I never lost a single one of these over the last year, which is really good. And these can amplify your gains and typically bring in 2 to 5% extra per month with very little effort. These are just once a week. Very passive, takes 2 minutes to place a trade every Sunday, and you're good to go. It just works. The other important thing is things like position sizing. So Lance provides a position size guide so that you can actually make sure that you're not over leveraging your account, avoid the mistakes that beginners make sometimes, and make sure that you're not going to just blow up your account. There's a money back guarantee. If we don't have an 80% plus win rate over the next year, refund your money on this. We're very confident that this is the case just because of the previous 3 years has been so high. We kind of know from the math. It's very mathematical based on the deltas. So we know that this is going to be something that you really enjoy and really get value out of. So like I said, the covered strangle trade alerts are the best out there, and they haven't had a losing trade in over a year since the inception of the service. And I really highly encourage you to jump on this 50% off because we've sold quite a few of these at $11.97. So to get this for half price is just a deal that you really don't want to miss. So it's a one-time fee. You just put in your email, credit card number, pay it, and you'll be brought to the Discord, which is fantastic. So definitely check it out. You've seen other people are happy with this service. If you're on the fence, you can always go to thetatraders.com and you can contact Lance up the top here. So contact. Or you can email me at stockalertsreviewed@protonmail.com and I can always forward your email to Lance. I'll put Lance's email address actually in the description below as well so you can check that out. Anyway, hopefully it's helpful. Don't hesitate. This is a really good deal. It's open until probably the end of the weekend, but I jump on it pretty soon because we can't keep it open at this price given that it's 50% off, which is really, it's kind of low. So hopefully you guys jump on this and I'll talk to you soon.